Hello and welcome in to Palmetto Sports Daily, but in this case, it's the New York State Daily for me. I'm live outside of Madison Square Garden right now before the Clemson men's basketball team takes on 10th-ranked BYU. I'm Carmine in my home original state of New York. Now, of course, the Palmetto State is my home, joined by the homies, the Palmetto Staters of Rick Henry in Columbia. We got Kevin Bilodeau in Charleston and Teagan Brown back from a long trip in Myrtle Beach with a lot of news about Coastal Carolina, and we have a lot of news about the Gamecocks and also Clemson football as well, because there's no off season in college football right now, talking about their bowl games. But right now we're talking about that Tigers matchup that I mentioned, the Jimmy V Classic, and what a testament to what this program has built, especially in the last 3 years under head coach Brad Brownell, the winningest 3 years in the program's history ever. 74 wins the past 3 years. They almost took down number 12 Crimson Tide in Alabama, but lost by 6, 90-84 in their last game in the ACC-SEC Challenge. But now, as you see the hustle and bustle behind me, this hot dog stand in MSG, let's hear from my one-on-one with Coach Brad Brownell ahead of this marquee matchup in New York City. Here with Clemson men's basketball head coach Brad Brownell ahead of the Jimmy V Classic, taking on 10th-ranked BYU. Coach, you had to stop off at the airplane hangar on the way here, had to refuel the plane.
Yeah.
How has this trip been, in addition to that Clemson grit working out in the airplane hangar, but also the walkthrough here at MSG?
Yeah, it's been fun. Certainly we didn't plan on, the diversion, but you got to make the best of it. So obviously we try to use a little bit of our time to walk through some of their BOB plays and side OB plays and just keep our guys busy a little bit. But then to wake up this morning and know that we're coming to MSG and to have a little shoot around, our guys are pretty pumped and excited. And obviously, I want them to be able to relax a little bit early in the game. I know we're going to have some butterflies. We want to be able to kind of put those aside and really play the kind of basketball we know we can play.
So you guys are going up against this 10th-ranked BYU team, coming off the close one to 12th-ranked Alabama, and then BYU has A.J. DeBonsa, possibly the top pick in the draft. You could win your 300th game with Clemson men's basketball here tonight. What are the biggest things that on a national stage you want people to see from Clemson men's hoops?
Well, I hope they just see a group of guys that really get along, care about each other, and compete at a high level. That's what we're trying to instill in our players. It's an ongoing process as you have so many new guys. Our Clemson grit motto, we believe in that and think that our guys are starting to take on that identity. And we're going to have to play at an extremely high level. BYU is about as talented as anybody. A.J. DeBonsa might be one of the top 2 or 3 picks in the draft. And so we're going to have some matchups that are going to be a little bit challenging for us, but we've got a couple things in place that we hope can offset that and give us a real opportunity to try to win the game.
Well, thanks so much, Coach. Can't wait to see
Appreciate
and show everybody the Tigers team on a national stage. For Palmetto Sports, Carmine. All right, guys, so big-time matchup, and the other matchup is also massive because you have a top 20 Florida team and a top 10 UConn team, which combined have won each of the last 3 national titles. So that's the second game right after the Tigers take on 10th-ranked BYU. And Kevin, what a testament to this Tigers team and what they've built over the past few seasons. Just a couple years ago, making that run to the Elite Eight, the furthest they've ever been. And also a very balanced team, because on this team you got 8 players averaging 8 points or more for Clemson. So what do you think about the marquee matchup here in the Big Apple?
It's a really balanced team for Clemson, and it's a good opportunity for them as well, because BYU has started off this season pretty well. So if Clemson can go and play well against this BYU team or get a victory, that would really propel them. I'm sure they would start knocking on the door of the top 25 next week, and that would really kind of hopefully set them up for the rest of the season. I'm a little disappointed, Carmine, because it looked like you were waiting for Brad Brownell to tell you he was going to suit you up tonight and throw you on the court at MSG before snatching it away from you.
No Eric Bakich golden batter Clemson baseball situation. I don't even come close to getting involved in that anymore. The biggest thing that I could be put in the game for is getting a hot dog here for lunch, Rick. That's the only participation I can have in any athletic activity, would be to be Joey Chestnut and eat some hot dogs here in New York City.
So did you take the opportunity to shoot any hoops inside the garden there?
I did not, but, after I saw the size, strength, and speed of these guys, I steered clear, and my hoop stayed in high school, a county north of here in Westchester County, New York, but that's about it. My career high, though, 23 points in high school, so not bad.
Wow, that's impressive. Well, when I was there in 2017 for the men's basketball tournament, and when the court was cleared after practice, the media got out there and we started shooting some hoops, and then they turned the lights off on us, but not before I hit a three-pointer. So that's my claim to basketball fame. Hit a three-pointer in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, you
Kevin?
shot the lights out. Wonderful.
Yeah, hey, that's one way to put it. But you be careful out there on those mean, tough streets of New York, Carmine. I'm a little concerned about you.
You got it. I'll steer clear of any controversy, any trouble.
Actually, Carmine, can you go buy a hot dog? And while you're doing that, I'll fill everyone in on the South Carolina State Charleston Southern game from last night. And I want to hear about that hot dog before we go to break. All right, perfect. So South Carolina State came down to the Buck Dome last night, took on Charleston Southern. This was a really close game for the first 15 minutes of the first half, and SC State was actually taking the lead at one point, 20-19 in that first half. It was pretty back and forth. The end of the first half, though, is where this game really turned around. Charleston Southern would end the first half on a 14-0 run to go on top 33-20 at the half. Then SC State would come out in the second half, score the first bucket, and then CSU would go on another 14-0 run. So it was basically a 28-2 run over 10 minutes of gameplay that saw CSU go down by 1 point to up by 25 points, and they just built that lead from there, and they went on for an 84-44 victory over SC State last night. So the Bucks, I believe they improved to 7-5 on the season. SC State dropping to 0-10 on the year, and a really disappointing start for the Bulldogs, Rick, especially coming off a really solid season they had last year, went into the MEAC tournament with a good chance of winning that and going to the NCAA tournament before coming up short. And now they sit at 0-10 to start off this season.
Yeah, Kevin, I was looking at their schedule last night. They still have to play the Gamecocks. They go to Tennessee, and then they jump into MEAC play. And, they're going to have some challenging games in the MEAC. So it doesn't look good for South Carolina State. And you're right, after a pretty decent year last year, and to be 0-10, not a good sign for the Bulldogs.
Carmine, hot dog update.
I love how Nick, our producer, was just in your ear, Kevin, hot dog update, and then you're like, Carmine, hot dog update. But I do have an update. Great sports journalism here in New York City. $5 a hot dog, guys. So if anybody Venmos me, I can bring back full hot dogs, a full spread. That'd be $20. And Teagan, everybody can have a hot dog straight from New York City. So, but coming back right after this break, we'll talk about another event actually going on in New York City, the Pinstripe Bowl for Clemson football. The Snowbirds are going to be going in the opposite direction, back to the snow, all this month. We'll be right back with much more after that.
Welcome back into Palmetto Sports Daily, back here in the Palmetto State. Last block, I had a bit of an issue. Could not hear Carmine's adventures. I couldn't hear anything, but I heard that we almost convinced him to buy a hot dog. Apparently not. I know.
We have
Kinda
3 more
ridiculous.
Blocks.
But we do. We still have time.
I'm getting hungry. I'm getting
of time,
hungry.
You'll have to get one later. Anyway, Coastal Carolina getting ready for their bowl game, getting ready without their head coach. Of course, while I was gone on my little vacay was when Coastal Carolina decided to get rid of Tim Beck. So now the Chants still looking for a head coach. We're hearing some different names. Everything's getting thrown out and tossed around. Really no concrete answer or anything yet about their next head coach, but they are getting ready for their bowl game. They're going to the Independence Bowl. That one's on December 30th in Shreveport, Louisiana, and they're going to take on Louisiana Tech. And there are a couple of cool storylines here because the interim head coach for Coastal Carolina, Jeremiah Johnson, who was, of course, and still technically sort of is, the defensive coordinator, he was there at Louisiana Tech last year as their DC. Also, Louisiana Tech is getting ready to join the Sun Belt as Texas State leaves the Sun Belt. So this will set up a really cool matchup of, a game that we'll probably see further down the road as they get into the Sun Belt and it gets official with the schedule and everything like that. But Jeremiah Johnson did take some time yesterday just to talk about players and the portal with the changes with when the portal opens. So here's what he had to say when asked if any kids had declared they were leaving yet.
Yeah, there's been a handful, but not as many maybe as you think. I think, the as late as this game is, it was a little bit of a concern yesterday. But only one guy popped into my office this morning and said that he had made a decision that, he didn't want to play that close to the portal opening up. Now, as it moves forward, I mean, you just never know as it moves forward. It could be, I could have three guys come in tomorrow.
Yeah, and there were some reports this morning of Nick Del Grande entering the transfer portal, a veteran on the team, somebody who's been there for them for the past few years. And then other than that, we don't know any specific names yet. Looking at other players and kind of their place on this team, we also don't know if Samari Collier is going to play in the bowl game. Of course, the quarterback who was hurt in that Georgia Southern game did not get to play against JMU. So still a lot of questions in the air for Coastal Carolina. But, the kids are excited. Coach Johnson said that they're going to take a little bit of a break for the holiday, and then they're going to come back and continue to prepare for the game. And they're going to start looking at tape pretty soon. But, Carmine, I know that you've got a bowl game to get ready for as well. It was a little bit of a question there for a bit if Clemson was going to get to that point. But you'll get to go back to the Empire State, to the Pinstripe Bowl, which is actually a pretty cool one. I went there a couple of years ago when Syracuse and Minnesota played there at Yankee Stadium.
Okay, yeah, I can't wait. And I was talking about before the snowbirds, migrating from the northeast to the southeast, from New York to South Carolina or the tri-state area, and now they're just going to go back, migrate the other way, back up to the northeast for this month if they're basketball and football fans. But yeah, really cool bowl, and a chance for Clemson to finish on a 5-game winning streak, which when they were 1-3 after that loss to your Syracuse Orange, and everything looked bleak and just, terrible start, worst under Dabo Swinney. It was a huge question mark of getting back to this point, but all you can do when that happens is win out and do your best, and that's what they've done so far. And now, ironically, you have two teams meeting in the Pinstripe Bowl that were both ranked top 5 in the country to start this season. One of them without their head coach, and James Franklin for Penn State. The other, of course, the Clemson Tigers. And here's Dabo Swinney talking about his trips to New York and his excitement to make another one coming at the end of the month.
I was overwhelmed. I'd never seen anything like it. I was completely overwhelmed, and it's an amazing experience. And as far as what I'm looking forward to as a part of this bowl game is I'm really looking forward to going to the 9/11 memorial, the stock exchange. That'll be a pretty cool experience. And so I've been several times. I've been to a few games at Yankee Stadium now, and I actually have in my office, I have first base from Yankee Stadium from back in 2018. So I've been to a Knicks game, I've been to a Nets game. So I love all the sporting events. And then probably some of my best memories from New York of going up when they used to have the draft at Radio City every year. I've been there several times for that. And then I'm actually at the College Football Hall of Fame event that's going to happen tonight. And this event used to be in New York every single year. So every December I would go up to New York for a couple of days. So a lot of good memories in the city, and we've actually recruited a few kids from up there.
And, you guys were talking about Eric Bakich putting me in for Clemson baseball, Brad Brownell putting me in for Clemson basketball. Dabo Swinney did not recruit me for Clemson football. I ended my eligibility in 6th grade tackle in Austin, New York, just about 45 minutes up the road here. But he mentioned the NFL draft, and we also got news about Avion Terrell, Clemson's all-conference cornerback, declaring for the draft. Peter Woods, Clemson's defensive tackle, declaring for the NFL draft, and a few others also expected from that junior class. We also know a few weeks ago Antonio Williams from Irmo, South Carolina, also declared, and all of them had eligibility left. So We'll see what happens. TJ Parker, also defensive end, expected to declare, has not yet. But Rick, big-time football in the Division II ranks as well.
You're right, Carmine. The dream season continues for the Newberry Wolves. Saturday, they will play in the NCAA Division II semifinals for the first time. They're traveling to Big Rapids, Michigan to play the defending national champs, Ferris State. That game will kick off Saturday at noon. And if the Wolves fall behind early, you don't have to worry about someone pressing a panic button. Newberry was down 21-3 in the first quarter last weekend on the road at Albany State, the top regional seed. The Wolves rallied to beat the Golden Rams 31-24. They improved to 12-1. They're also 6-0 on the road. And Saturday's comeback was the third time this season Newberry has rallied from a 21-0 or 21-3 deficit to win the game. Here's head coach Todd Knight.
We've been in that position probably more than being in control throughout the season. So it's not uncharted territory for us. We're kind of used to playing from behind, and our kids believe in each other so much that when we do get behind, a lot of teams, drop their head and let it go. This crowd, they're always believing that they're going to come back. They're going to come back. They're going to fight. They're going to find a way. They've done it all season long, and they did it again today.
Yeah, the Newberry Wolves, this season's comeback kids, hope they can get that win and advance to the national championship game. And right now we are going to advance to the break, but we'll be back with much more here on Palmetto Sports Daily. And welcome back to Palmetto Sports Daily, and we're still talking college football. Now, South Carolina's offense this past season, it was pretty anemic. Offensive coordinator Mike Shula is out. Mike Furry, the receivers coach, he finished up the season calling the plays, and now we have reports, including one from ESPN, that the Gamecocks have focused their attention on Kendall Browse. He is the offensive coordinator at TCU. And it seems like we're just waiting for everything to be finalized as far as the contract is concerned. And we should get a notice that the Board of Trustees is meeting to approve an athletics contract. Now, Browse is a finalist for the Broyles Award, which goes to college football's top assistant coach. This past season, TCU's quarterback Josh Hoover threw for over 3,400 yards and 29 touchdowns with 13 interceptions as TCU averaged nearly 31 points per game. That was 44th nationally. And South Carolina, they struggled mightily all season long trying to move the ball and put points on the board, ranking at the bottom of the SEC and in the bottom of the NCAA national ranking. So a lot of fans have been clamoring to hire Kendall Browse. And if that happens, Kevin, do you think we'll see vast improvement with the South Carolina offense?
I don't know, Rick, because the thing that worries me about this hire is that, I was looking at some of the numbers, and I think TCU finished fourth in the Big 12 this year in offense, third in passing. They were still down towards the bottom, though, in rushing offense, and that's a spot South Carolina needs to improve going into next year. So I'm not sure if this offense is the way to go. And the other thing that worries me is when a team makes a hire like this, I try to go back and see what a coach's current team says about that guy leaving. And if you look at the TCU message boards and on social media, what they're saying about Kendall Browse, those fans are ready to drive him to the airport and get him out of town. They are not happy with the way that offense was run this year. A lot of slants on third and fourth downs and things that didn't seem to work for them. So if they're not upset about him leaving, I'm wondering if South Carolina fans, Carmine, should be happy that he's showing up in Columbia.
Yeah, and you could say a similar thing about Clemson's current offensive coordinator, Garrett Riley, and, we're hearing that he's in deep talks and strong consideration for the Coastal Carolina job because Clemson fans, you could say maybe 1 foot in, 1 foot out as far as 50-50 on how Garrett Riley's done, but a lot of them think that this Clemson offense could have been a lot better this year. And so Teagan, hey, it could be a Palmetto State move for Garrett Riley.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, and like we've kind of talked about a little bit, whenever there's a job like this or any kind of opening or changing, There are going to be so many rumors just swirling around of who's taking over. I don't think Coastal fans would be mad at that one, but Rick, going back to South Carolina, I haven't been on the show for the past few weeks, but I've scrolled on Twitter, lots of people talking about if that addition at OC would make Lenora Sellers want to stay. I'm just curious kind of what you've heard about his future and if he has any plans.
Yeah, there's people have been talking about a post that Lenore's made with no caption or anything, so everyone is just speculating, like, what does this mean? And I don't know if we're going to find out anything until next month. So it's like wait and see. All right, we're going to take another time out, and we'll be right back here on Palmetto Sports Daily.
Welcome back in, closing out Palmetto Sports Daily, and we will talk much more about the 16-seed Furman Paladins' incredible run in the NCAA tournament for men's soccer. They're heading to Cary, North Carolina to take on Washington in the College Cup, which is basically the Final Four of men's soccer, in their head coach Doug Allison's 31st and final year. But I'm heading to this hot dog stand, which has been left unattended, and I don't know if there's anybody manning this station, but I think I'm going to get some relish, some chili, some onions, and then, oh my gosh, I'm like the Rain Man, but for pigeons. Anyway, they heard about the hot dog bun that I was going to get, and they flocked around. But anyway, I'm going to negotiate with this man here. He told me $5. I think I can get 2 for $5. Being a New Yorker, I'm a city slicker. But hey, Clemson men's basketball at Madison Square Garden against 10th ranked BYU, and we'll see you guys tomorrow in the Palmetto State.